This is what Beijing looked like some 20 years ago. China then was called the Kingdom of Bicycles. But then urban planners had a different idea.
For decades, they did everything they could to make Beijing more car-friendly. Around 6 million vehicles now clog its roads and highways, and the Kingdom of Bicycles has become the capital of traffic jams. Then, 2 years ago, colorful rental bikes suddenly began appearing everywhere. All you need to use one briefly is the app, and they cost less than 30 euro cents per hour. So anyone with a smartphone can now find a bike practically anywhere. I went to find out if the new technology is encouraging people to get out of their cars. Moebike was the first bike-sharing company. It launched in 2016 and now claims to have 200 million users worldwide.
At first, there was cutthroat competition. There were over 100 companies on the market. Now there are just 3 or 4 left. We're not making a profit yet, but we're getting there bit by bit. Our results in September were extraordinarily good. I can tell you that much.
One of my first questions, how much are the rental bikes really being used? When do you rent a bicycle?
Well, if I don't have to go more than 20 kilometers.
That far? Most Beijing residents use the bikes for much shorter distances, for the so-called last mile, from the subway to their office or home. For the first time in quite a while, the number of bike journeys is growing. Sandra Retzer advises the Chinese Ministry of Transport on behalf of the German government.
That was the positive effect of all the various bike-sharing companies. Officials started rethinking things in the cities and in city governments. It's a big discussion in many urban areas today all over the world, the question of how we can get people to enjoy riding bikes.
Most roads in Beijing have a bike lane like this, and we are going to take a look now in what condition they are.
This one is nice and wide and pretty comfortable to ride on. Even if there are a couple of obstacles along the way, I just managed to squeeze past one car making a turn, and there's another issue. Too many vehicles stop or park on the bike path. Then you have to swerve into the car lane, so a less than perfect situation. And there are other negative aspects to bike sharing, like the numbers of rental bikes cluttering up streets and sidewalks. Authorities now often just pile them up onto what look like scrap heaps. The bikes the city administration has cleared are now unloaded here on the fringes of the capital. Every major Chinese city has bicycle cemeteries like this one. The remaining rental companies have to take back some of them. Nobody knows what will happen to the rest. Moebike is grappling with new regulations for bike sharing in the city. 750,000 of its bikes can be found on the streets of Beijing. The government won't allow them to deploy more. On peak days, their bikes can rack up 2 million trips.
I think many new business models need a phase of irrational competition. But in the future, this industry will become extremely environmentally friendly and sustainable.
Every ride is recorded by the system. Moebike not only knows how many of its bikes are being used, it also has to be able to tell at a given moment where each is located.
All rental bicycle companies now have to install live monitoring systems. The data from them is also transmitted in tandem to the government.
But people like Mr. Dung are even more important. He collects scattered rental bikes, driving around the streets of Zhongguancun, where Beijing's young IT industry is located, and loading them up. Mr. Dung brings them back to places where they're needed, like subway stations. Zhongguancun sees many young commuters, and the subway is the hotspot for bike sharing. The bike collector came to Beijing from his village just a year ago. He gets paid by the day for his labor. In a month, he can earn about 600 euros. That's about half the average wage.
9 in the morning is the busiest time. By then, everyone is in their offices. The bikes are all over the place. I fill up my truck every few minutes.
Are rental bikes really the solution to Beijing's traffic problems? To find out more, I take a detour in the historic district. As the city modernized, the old town became a symbol for backwardness. For the old and the poor who lived here, bicycles were a common means of transport. Today, the charms of the old town are being rediscovered by young people. And what about bikes? This small shop wants to show the people of Beijing that cycling can be fun. Customers can design their own bikes here.
You can pick any color you want. See which one you like. Some customers rediscover cycling through riding rental bikes. They use them, but they don't find them comfortable enough. They're too small, they don't have enough gears, or are only suitable for short distances. And many rental bikes are in bad condition and are poorly maintained. After riding the rental bikes, however, people decide they want to buy one of their own, and slowly but surely, the bicycle culture is re-emerging.
So bike sharing has acted as a catalyst, helping Beijing residents rediscover an important means of transport from the past. Now all that's needed is a sustainable plan for the traffic of the future.